The pandemic has fundamentally reshaped our communities, towns, and cities, changing the way we live, work, and play. As part of our recovery, we need to reimagine everything from housing to green spaces and infrastructures, tackling both the inequality crisis and the climate and environmental crises. The World Health Organization estimates that air pollution kills more than 7 million people each year. While global regions battle with ferocious storms, long periods of drought, rising sea levels, crop failures, and devastating floods. The causes and distributional impacts of this climate crisis are unevenly felt both between and within countries. To face the climate emergency, recovery must go further, rebuilding stronger communities and more pleasant environments. The city must be at the heart of the green transition to showcase how we can bring about a thriving low-carbon life to create transformative spaces that put people and climate first. A Green New Deal can deliver change on the pace and scale required, restructuring our economy towards sustainability, hardwiring justice into economic and social life, and repairing plundered natural systems. This project sets out to envisage how a Green New Deal-led recovery could transform the city of Glasgow, with the aim to stimulate discussion and generate policy ideas through providing images around what transformative change could look like in practice. Preparing Glasgow for the risks associated with climate breakdown will require bold action. Our current situation shows fragmented landscapes with insufficient networks of blue-green infrastructure. Restoring the banks of the Clyde and its streams is key to managing flooding, as is connecting these to areas of vegetation capable of absorbing excess water in their root systems. These actions can go hand in hand with wider efforts, such as the establishment of a green belt for Glasgow and drawing on local resources by bolstering the wind farm capacity of the city and connecting it to other sources of green energy. Also reinforcing, transforming, and restoring natural systems with urban rewilding programs that benefit the health and resilience of the city and its residents, generating cleaner area and better space for leisure and activity. Finally, a tight-knit infiltration of green and blue networks is a fine-grained strategy of greening secondary urban spaces to further reinforce a fabric of biodiverse vegetation and wild species right at the heart of the city. By using nature-based resilience strategies, such as afforestation programs and targeted hydrological interventions, Glasgow could help mend its relationship with its surrounded landscape. By restoring the banks of the Clyde and its streams, we can better manage flooding. And by relying on local and sustainable sources of energy, the Clyde can provide water and geothermal energy for residential reuse and local green jobs. The current street section highlights the existing streetscapes and the need to shift away from spaces built around cars to lower emissions and air pollution levels. Moving towards a sustainable and healthy future will require changing the built environment and transport infrastructure to encourage walking and cycling, and making sure residents can easily access affordable and sustainable services in their area. Part of this should entail creating a continuous, accessible streetscape with wider pavements and a clear horizon, making walking and cycling the obvious choice to get around the neighborhood. A public realm built and adapted around cars has made walking a less than ideal option. Caught between the speed of traffic and crowded pavements, spending time outside can be stressful or feel unsafe, particularly for vulnerable individuals. Walkability is not achieved with street design alone. Shops and services, their availability and cost, are key factors in shaping the ability to get out and spend time in the neighborhood. Cars in Glasgow stay put for the majority of their lives, while roads, car parks, and on-street parking take up a third of Glasgow's public ground, feeding an increasingly serious heat island effect, one the sparse vegetation in Glasgow does little to mitigate. Accessible streetscape makes walking the obvious choice to get around the neighborhood. The wider pavements and clear horizon make spending time outside more pleasant and safe. Green buffer zones have replaced some parking spaces, protecting pedestrians from traffic. An ambitious new era of community wealth building can ensure the high street a mix of affordable shops and local community services to create an active and inclusive street life anchored in local culture and initiative. With most on-street parking removed, a green buffer zone could come in to protect cycle paths and pedestrians. Corridors of trees can make the air cleaner and double up with the city's sustainable drainage system, absorbing CO2 while protecting homes from the noise and pollution of traffic. Glasgow's iconic tenement buildings are a central pillar of the city's landscape. With this in mind, and inspired by Avril Payton's Windows in the West, and the work by John Gilbert Architects, the section describes the potential of retrofitting tenements and their common areas to enable greater levels of community participation and shape how living spaces are designed and used. An expensive and fragmented heat delivery strategy, combined with the poor thermal performance of old tenements, has contributed to the current lack of affordable heating. This crisis needs immediate action that should focus on making tenements carbon neutral. Future-proofing tenements means addressing the combined challenge of climate change and an aging population to make it easier for aging adults to keep enjoying the benefits of urban community life. A cooperative stewardship of tenements can not only help bring down soaring rental prices, but also improve the shared and characteristic hallways of Glasgow tenements. Preserving this common heritage, along with cooperative management of heat and waste, can become a key source of employment that is both sustainable and rooted in the communities they serve. New models of ownership can transform collective space in and around tenements to enhance active and diverse common areas. Under collective management, gardening would provide both a form of community employment and communal activity. As the pandemic subsides, along with the need for social distancing, indoor spaces in the courtyards could house a network of lively community infrastructures, with all the necessary equipment to host regular meals, meetings, and gatherings. A retrofitting revolution to create net zero, decent homes for all is an opportunity to create good local jobs in rooted supply chains, tackle fuel poverty, and create shared spaces for communities to use. Reimagining the ownership structures in and around tenements, from heating systems to building management, can allow for greater levels of participation from communities, involving them in shaping decisions about their living space and environment.